Hi guys, welcome to a new video on Sonal's life. Now, the last video I did was my vlog of Japan, but we are firmly back in the UK. Post Japan and Korea, depression is firmly kicking in. But with the New Japan New Beginning shows, so the big bulk of them coming up in the next week, and also everything that I saw when I was at Wrestle Kingdom, I want to take the time, especially at the start of the year I guess, to speak about the future of New Japan. Talk about, I guess, post Wrestle Kingdom, going into the new year, what the future of New Japan looks like, where they are, what they're doing, and like the potential that they've got, because I feel that, especially last year at the start of the year, after the loss of like Okada, and then we saw Ospreay go, and obviously over the past few years we've seen quite a lot of the veteran stars go. We've obviously got Tanahashi retiring, Naito on his last knees. There's always been this talk about what the future of New Japan is going to look like. Are they strong enough? So I thought, let's have a dive into that, because I feel like everyone's going to have very different opinions on this, but it's something that we need to talk about. So let's get going. Sorry for the random changes of lighting. It's early in the morning, the sun is deciding to come up, then it's not coming up, it's all very weird. So we obviously have in New Japan, I guess, like the hierarchy of what you've got. Sometimes you can judge it by like dojo classes, sometimes you judge it by ages, but I'm going to kind of go through everyone that I count as like the new generation. And again, this doesn't technically base it on ages, but what I think their future is going to be. And if I miss any out, I am very sorry. So let's start with, we'll start simply, the class of young lions. We have some very strong names. So Murashima, Kato, I'm definitely going to miss it, Nagai, the full class. So I think there are about 5 of them. Now obviously I always have a strong attachment to these young lions because I watch them from like debut, the physical debut, when they're actually, you see them when they're around the ring, then you see them debut, then you see them move. And I think that this crop of young lions are very different in the sense that in the past, young lions had this very strict, like, they had to do a certain moveset, they were the good guys, they had this, they were this, almost very two-dimensional. That's not a problem, because the young lion, that's the whole point. However, this batch of young lions really have a bit of an edge to them. They have passion. I can't remember which tour it was, but Murashima was having a lot of fun with like Tanahashi and Jado doing like air guitars and things. A bit of personality. In particular, one person I'm looking forward to, and I think we've spoken about that, wrestlers have spoken about, Nagai. Now, Nagai has come in like a fucking madman. He's basically the second incarnation of Gabe Kidd. And it's quite funny that he has this heel tendency to him. And I think wrestlers are seeing that in him. I think Ishimori actually pointed out something like when they had a match. And I think it's very interesting to see a young lion with such a chip on his shoulder, and one that you can see as a heel in the future. We don't want House of Torture. But you know what I mean? I feel like this class is very strong. We have smaller guys, muscle guys, athletic guys. So that in itself, I think, is going to be very interesting. Now, let's go on to our young lions who have just graduated, I guess. It's weird. I'm like trying to figure out like the best way to categorize this, and I don't think it's going to have any order. But obviously, we have Ryohei Oiwa. Now, Oiwa, even before he went on Excursion, had so much potential, but we didn't know which route he was going. Everyone was quite surprised, including myself, when he chose to go to Noah for his Excursion, because I think it's rare. If I can't remember since I've been watching it, any young lions going to like an internal Japanese company for their Excursion, but this has worked massively in his favor. He was teaming the likes of Kaito Kiyomiya, facing some of the best in the industry. He also packed on a bit of weight and muscle. Now, obviously, that is one of my big questions when people go on Excursion and come back is, oh, are they going to stay heavyweight? Are they going to stay junior? You know that my hope is always that they stay as a junior, but like 9 times out of 10, that doesn't happen. However, obviously, he's come back as a heavyweight, and he has, while not picked up championships like his fellow classmate, which we will discuss, he has showcased some amazing talent, some amazing matches. In particular, literally like a week ago, he had a phenomenal match, special singles match against Yoshihashi. There was chops, there was speed, there was kicks, and that's what I love about most of the young lions nowadays, is how diverse they are. Obviously, Oiwa is in TMDK, so within that, he has so much like knowledge to come from. He obviously has Zach's submission skills, Robbie Eagles' submission skills, but also like his athleticism as a junior. Then obviously like tag team action, then the strength. All of the wrestlers within TMDK really are going to help Oiwa come even more rounded. And while maybe he's not like boom in your face like Tsuji, who we'll discuss later, when his excursion ended and he came back, I really think that Oiwa has got potential to be a future champion. He just needs that opportunity, and I think that long story of growing to really help him out. And talking about TMDK, we can't forget about our youngest, well, one of our youngest guys on the roster, Kosei Fujita, who I guess not only being very young, but is also the youngest IWGP champion in history. So as I was mentioning before, you obviously wonder, are they going to come back as juniors and heavyweights? And luckily, Fujita decided to stay as a junior. He did his excursion much more varied. Like, he had a few matches in New Japan, but he went to Australia with Robbie, he went to the UK, he went to the US. He really became massively well-rounded, and you can tell that in his style. And also his whole image and personality, the young punk, just feels perfect for him. It's someone who's a bit rebellious. He's got like streaks in his hair, like a earring. He's got really cool ring gear, and that creates someone who is very cool and someone that you want to support. Obviously, I was there live at Wrestle Kingdom. Him and Robbie won the IWGP Junior Tag titles in a phenomenal Fatal 4-Way tables, ladders and chairs match, which showcased that, yes, for all the amazingness that Fujita is an amazing wrestler, he can also put on these big shows on like these grand stages. And also he's just very funny, like linking to like his presence. When he teams with Shane Haste and Mikey Nichols, the bond between him and Shane is just like so chaotic. And obviously he has a title match against El Desperado. I don't believe he's going to become the youngest ever two-time champion, but Fujita has got such a bright future ahead of him. And again, like Oiwa, the wealth of knowledge he is getting. So obviously, Zach took him under his wing very early on. So he's got the submission skills. Honestly, Robbie couldn't be an any better mentor and partner for Fujita. So yeah, between the two of them, TMDK's future is extremely orange and extremely bright. I also realised that when I was like I told you there was going to be no order to this, but I realised that I missed out two people. So obviously on Excursion, we have Oscar Lobe and Yuto Nakashima. I watched them at Roll Quest last year. They are doing great things as a team. Yuto Nakashima, you'll know from my videos and stuff, I wasn't too sure of him, but his connection with Oscar Lobe and their tag team has really cemented that when they come back, I think that is going to be their focus. They are very big, strong men, very charismatic. I saw like their connection with each other, so they are going to be very good. Where they're going to go, I feel like they don't fit into a faction at this point. Maybe TMDK, maybe they create something of their own, but yeah, I think they're the only two on Excursion at the moment, so it will be interesting to see. Now we are going to talk about those young lions, the Musketeers. Now, obviously, the first person we talk about, he's not technically part of the Musketeers, is Umara. Sadly, Umara is still injured, so I technically can't give my real judgment on him. Before he was injured in, I believe it was World Tag League, he was extremely talented, very strong, coming up side by side actually with Tsuji, and the impactness, is that a word, that he was having. He was strong, he was fast, he's very handsome. He basically is the full package. So, and again, I'll keep mentioning this, I think excursions are very vital to this, and Umara's excursion in America and TNA really did help him out on the character basis. But again, with Umar being injured, I can't really say what 2025 will hold for him, because, well, we don't know when he's going to be back. All I know is that he needs to hurry up, because just 5 guys became just 4 guys, and now they're on just 2 guys. So come home to us. The next, obviously, one is Ren Narita. We don't talk about Ren Narita. The guy came back from Excursion. So much potential, teaming with Suzuki and Desperado. I was slightly upset that he wasn't a junior due to his size and his style, but that's just gone out the window. So we're not going to talk about the potential of Ren Narita because he is in House of Torture. He had a very lackluster television championship reign, so unless Narita changes, he's never going to be on this list. We've then come to someone very controversial, so that is Shota Umino. Love him or hate him, Shota has been one of the most, how do I say this, polarizing wrestlers. So before Excursion, everyone knew him. He was part of that class who has so much potential, one that had like a very huge part in my heart. He came on Excursion, he was in the UK, again did amazing. He was dubbed as the new ace. But really, something has not been hitting. Now, at the start, when he first came back, there was a lot of issues of his identity. Was he Shota Umino? Was he Tanahashi? Was he Tetsuya Naito? He was having good matches, but he was never really hitting in the right places. Was he Jon Moxley? Now, a lot of people now still have that thought. They think that he is the worst of the class. I mean, I don't know why you'd say that when you've got Ren Narita. But he obviously had those polarizing matches at Wrestle Kingdom, Wrestle Dynasty against Zack and Claudio. Personally, I thought those matches showed how much he had come on. So especially in the Zack match, they were given much more time due to an injury on Doki's behalf, so he was having to adapt. We saw his ability to connect with a lot of the crowds. Yes, I mean, it didn't seem to hit with the Western fans, but I know that everyone in the arena was cheering for Shota. I still think that he has a lot of potential. We need to remember he's still young. He's like 27 years old, and while he's been in the system for a while, that's still very young compared to the rest of the wrestlers. So I just think we need to give him more time. And I know, you're saying, well, they don't have time. He should have done this on Excursion. It's easy for us to say. But I think that when you have such a reputation, such a burden put on you with these nicknames of like the future ace, it's gonna affect you. And do I think Shota will be champion soon? No, maybe there's still a while to go. But I think that Shota is gonna continue being a huge star. He's gonna gain the love and attention of fans. So I just think people need to stop being so negative about Shota. We then have the star, I guess, of those class like young lions, and that is Yota Tsuji. Yota Tsuji is, I mean, he's been making waves since he came back. He came back and on his first match he challenged Sonada for the IWGP Heavyweight Championship. He had amazing runs in the New Japan Cup, which he won. Amazing run in the G1 Tag League, and more recently he beat David Finlay to become the IWGP Global Champion. Tsuji is what you call the perfect package. He is strong, tall, athletic, fast, charismatic. He has the hair, and that comes from, and again I keep acting like a broken record, his Excursion. He, I think, has had one of the best excursions. I compare it similar to Sho and Yo's, where he had a split Excursion. So he spent time here in the UK, so he was learning like British strong style, the independent scene here. I remember I watched him on so many Rev Pro shows, but he also went to CMLL, which means that he not only has a good submission and like strength base, but he is a bloody high flying luchador. I compare him to the likes of Jeff Cobb. Like, someone that big shouldn't be able to fly as easily as he does, and that makes him extremely special, because you've got nobody like that. And if you put him, the fact that he's now in the most popular faction, Los Ingobernables de Japón, learning again from some of the best in the industry, like Bushi, Hiromu, Shingo, Naito, Titan. Now there's, do you know what I mean? A wide breadth of knowledge. There's no surprise that Tsuji is as good, but Tsuji has always had something special. I think that whole class of young lions did. But I think out of all of them, Tsuji has showed up and showed off the most. I think he was so underrated when it came to his potential. While we knew he was going to be good, we didn't know how good. But he has exceeded and surpassed that massively. So it'll be interesting to see how he works with this global championship. Finley did amazing with it, but it's time for the future to hold it. And yeah, very excited to see what Tsuji does in the future. Now, obviously, I've spoken about all the young lions and the people who come through the dojo, but there are so many others. So obviously, he came through the dojo, but a little bit different, two of them. Clark Connors and Gabriel Kidd, obviously the LA dojo. These two guys, Clark Connors, strong, fast, agile, handsome, charismatic, a strong force in the junior heavyweight division. Absolutely phenomenal. He is going to do amazing things, whether he decides to stay in that division or follow Dan Maloney in something more open weight. Obviously, we need to talk about fucking Gabriel Kidd. Gabriel Kidd is a fucking star, and it feels weird putting him as the future because I've been watching him for years in the UK scene. He started wrestling when he was like 13. I mean, if you want to know this, I did a blog about this like before he even debuted in New Japan. I'll see if I can link it, but it's actually crazy how far he has come. And he's gone through a journey. He was like the British face in the LA dojo. Then he obviously had some mental health issues. Then he came back as a heel. But now he's almost become like a vigilante. He is against the hierarchy. He wants to be the future. He wants to showcase how good New Japan is. Obviously, his match at Wrestle Kingdom against Kenny was life-changing. I still can't believe that I saw that live. He has everything that you want in a wrestler. He has that chip on his shoulder, but he has the heart. He has the love for New Japan, and he has the talent. He's also not afraid to be a bit unpredictable. Obviously, in the past, we have said that unpredictability has led to his downfall. But if he can channel that, he's going to be champion after champion, because obviously he's currently the strong open weight champion. But I see IWGP on the horizon. And obviously there are rumours about David Finlay's place in New Japan. Could it be time for a new leadership of the War Dogs? And could Gabriel Kidd be that person? I compare him to the likes of Tsuji. Surpassed any expectation they had. We obviously knew he was going to be amazing. He has been champion more times than any of these young lions probably combined on the British independent scene. But he has really he has captured the hearts of Japanese fans. And that is something very hard for a Gaikokujin heel to do. And that's why I don't think we can call him a heel. If you saw the reaction to him in every match he's had from the Japanese fans, you'll know he's very well loved. And then obviously we have the likes of Master Wato, Francesco Akira, other guys like that. There are so many new faces who hopefully will stay in New Japan forever, who are ensuring that whether some of the veterans retire or some of the faces we're familiar with decide they want to go elsewhere, New Japan will always be safe based on the way that they grow their talent, the way they treat their young stars, and the opportunities that they get. Now, obviously, this was a nice little rambling video. It's been a while, obviously, there was a massive rush of Wrestle Kingdom and content from Japan. But hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know your thoughts on all of the young stars. Who do you think has surpassed your expectations? Who is a future star? Who needs a bit of help? And who maybe hasn't matched up to what you thought? Let me know in the comments. Let me know on social media at wrestling_chat. We've got obviously a few big shows coming up with New Beginning, then CMLL and New Japan's Fantastica Mania. So if you enjoyed my Wrestle Kingdom stuff, I hope you stick around. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video, and I will see you soon. Bye guys!